Okay, good morning, everybody that's here. That's on Zoom. That's on Facebook. Welcome. So I'm going to learn a very famous chapter of Tanya, chapter 47 of Tanya. I'm going to skip a little bit because this Tanya deals with the holiday of Pesach that's coming up. Passover is coming up in the Midshem. We're not going to have a class this Sunday, next Sunday. No, the coming Sunday and 2 Sundays from now. So
say that again.
we're not going to have a class this coming up Sunday at a Pesach, and in the middle of Yontif, and we're going to come back together on the 2nd. Right? Does that make sense? No. On the 16th.
Oh,
We'll come back together on the 16th. That's when we're going to come back together.
okay, so that's the next time we do this.
16th. Okay. So since we want to learn about Seder, about what we do, what Pesach's all about. Oh, the color is a little weird over here, but sorry. See me clearly? You see me, okay. You're sitting right here. Okay. So now the Rebbe says,
lower the sunlight a little.
Lower the sunlight?
Yeah, lower the sunlight.
No
You're
sunlight.
very washed out.
I know, that's the sunlight. I can't help. I can't lower the sunlight. I wish I could.
Simsum. Contractions.
Jackson. So the Alter Rebbe says, chapter 47 says, every generation and every day a person is obligated to regard himself as if that day he's gonna come out of Egypt. So that's a Mishnah. The Mishnah says, B'chol dur v'dur, in every generation, a person has to feel like he's going out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt. And the Alter Rebbe adds, B'chol yoyim v'yoyim, in every single day. Every single day, a person has to feel like he's going out of Egypt. What does that mean? We're not living in Egypt, we're living in Boca. So what is the meaning that we have to feel today we're going out of Egypt? We're not in Egypt. The Alter Rebbe says, what is the meaning of the statement? The meaning of the statement is this refers to the release of the divine soul from the confinements of the body. Every day, on the Neshama, we wake up in the morning and we thank God for giving us a Neshama. Shama shenasata bi. I want to thank God that He returned within me, Ishmasi, my soul. So within me, within my body. So my body has brought, my soul has come into the confinements of my body. My soul is spiritual, my body is physical. And automatically my body is going to put certain conditions and limitations on my neshama, right? My neshama is not going to be totally free. Now it's going to need to have bodily needs, food, and whatever the body needs. While the neshama doesn't need that, doesn't need food, doesn't need rest, doesn't need to have all the bodily needs. So it's automatically gonna be confined to that. Whether he's a tzaddik or not a tzaddik, he's going to be confined to the body. So how does one go out of Golus? How does one have less confinement to the body? How does one get out of the body a little bit less limitations of the body? Especially as we get older, right? The body brings on more limitations. So one of the prayers we say is that God should not forget us when we get old. God should not, you're old. What are you going to do with you already? No, God should not send us away. We have a purpose. And we should, even though we don't have the vigor and the strength of a younger person, we still have a purpose in this world. And God should give us the strength that we should fulfill our purpose. No, it's not. Don't God forget it. Don't send us. I say, okay, don't send us. When our strength starts to wane, don't let us go. Don't let us. We still even the waning of strength, we still can do something. Say that when we say Avinu Malkeinu, when we say Shema Keleinu, when we open the ark on a fast day, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, it says 6 days, 10 days of repentance, right? Shema Keleinu, Hashem Elokeinu, Shema Keleinu, Chus Merachim Aleinu, Tal Barach, Hashveinu Hashem Elechem Leshuva, right? And we say Al Tashecheinu Leizikna, Yechleis Kecheinu Al Tazveinu. Don't send us away when we get older, and when our strength starts to wane. Don't let us go. We're still here, even though we're AKs. Right. Nobody wants to listen to our wisdom. That's the problem. Nobody's interested. There's no takers for the great wisdoms. It's a problem.
Hopefully we have no future.
Right. But it says the Torah says, ask your parents, they will tell you, go to your elders, and they'll advise you. But who's going to their elders? Nobody's interested. So they think their elders are out of touch. Okay, whatever. So this refers to release of divine soul from the confinements of the body, the serpent skin, in order to absorb into the unity of the light of Eretz, blessed be He. So what does the soul want? The soul wants to connect to God. The soul wants to be one with God. That's the soul's agenda, has no other purpose. He wants to be one with God. My soul is searching, is yearning for you. And now the soul is confined to the body. So the soul needs to go out of the confines of the body. How do we limit the confines of the body? How do we, our body's important, but how do we keep it in its place that it doesn't become overpowering? Because the soul wants to become one with God, one with the infinite God through the occupation of Torah and commandments in general. And particularly through accepting the yoke of the kingdom of heaven during the recital of Shema. What's the greatest thing the soul wants to do in davening? Soul wants to pray to God. It wants to become one with God. It says Shema Yisrael. It says here, O Israel, Lord our God, Lord is one. I love God with all my heart, with all my soul. Soul wants to become, has a love of God, has such an ava to the Eibishter, as an attraction to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that it wants to become, when it says the Shema, really, what are you saying? What all of us say in the Shema. The soul is actually feeling that. We might be saying that the soul is actually feeling the love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How much it loves God. Yeah, but right now it's in my body. So right now it's in the confinements in my body, and it's searching for the light. It's searching for that light. It wants to reconnect to that light. That's why we compare to the soul, to a fire and a candle. It's like a fire always wants to leap, it always wants to go above, but it's held down by the wick and the oil. So too this neshama wants to go above. He really wants to hasta la vista. He wants to get out of this situation. Zoya compares the body to us. So you mentioned in the beginning of Tanya, the Zoya compares the body to a serpent skin. Means that the body is the biggest concept, the biggest darkness in the world is your body. That's the biggest problem. Everybody thinks the big problems is out there. The big problem is yourself. You're the biggest problem. Stop worrying about the world out there. Start worrying about yourself. How are you going to fix yourself? If you think there's darkness in the world, you don't have to go far. There's darkness right in your body. Your body is holding you back, holding me back from doing what is right. I don't even need the physical body, my mental capacity. I have certain things. I have certain hang-ups that is hard for me to let go. It's a serpent skin. No, you're holding yourself back. You're holding yourself back. That is, that's true. Nobody will be able to hold you back if you didn't hold yourself back. So we're holding ourselves back. We're not letting ourselves breathe. We're not letting ourselves live. And that's the struggle within ourselves. So that's why we say Shema every day. Moshe Rabbeinu established in Devarim and Deuteronomy that Jews should say the Shema every day, twice a day, that they should remember what they're really here for. They're really here for, even though they think they're here for many other things, which is giving them troubles and headaches and problems, they're really here for I'm here to love God. I'm here to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here for anything else but to serve the Eibishter. Everything else that it comes with is secondary to my true obligation and my responsibility as a Jew here in this world. When a Jew can accept the yoke of heaven in the Shema, wherein a person explicitly accepts and draws over himself the unity of blessed be he, when he says, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. You know that the Gemara says that everything you don't have, if you daven in the Tanyas of the days, that Alter Rebbe says, if you daven, tefillah b'al kavana is a mitzvah, even though you had no intent. Besides, when you say that verse, Gemara says, Halacha says, when you say the verse, Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one, you must have intent. What does that mean? That you need to hear clearly that the Eibishter is one. Not that the Eibishter is a God. Everybody believes God is our God. You have to believe that I need to be one with God. And the first way I can be one with God is I truly love Him. I love God with all my might, with all my heart. Means, as we said it many times, it means even if I'm going to give up my life, if I give up, I don't need all my money. Right? I don't need nothing. It's hard to think, but that's what you're saying. So you have to listen to what you're saying. Previously, it's been explained that our God is understood in the same way as the God of Abraham. It's our God. It's mine. And so forth. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. This is not a general concept. This is a personal relationship. You're saying, I have a personal relationship with God. Has nothing to do, even though I'm part of the Jewish nation, I'm part of the human race, I have a personal relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? That's what we say in the Davi. You say, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob. They have three different gods? Chas v'shalom. They had the same God. It was one God. Nevertheless, Abraham had a personal relationship with God. Abraham and Sarah had their relationship with God. And Isaac and Jacob had their relationship with God. And Jacob had it, etc. Everybody has a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a private relationship. Besides the fact that we have a general relationship with God as a Jewish nation, and we have a general relationship with God as a human race. But there's a personal relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, each and every individual, right? God created, that's when the Gemara says, one of the miracles of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, greatness of God, He created billions of people and they're all separate. They all have their own identity. The person is not the same. Every person's fingerprint is not the same. Mind blowing. The Eibishter created your soul and your body exactly who for you. It's meant for you. It's not meant for anybody else. So therefore, don't be anybody else. Right? Because that's not what the Eibishter created. The Eibishter didn't create two people to be the same. Even identical twins. They're not the same. Two different kind of people. So the Eibishter created a humanity, a human race, that each and every person is needed. And if there's missing a person in the world, is missing the whole world. Missing something in the whole world. Because since the Eibishter created, it's like you take a beautiful painting and there's missing a dot. Might be the smallest dot. Me, I wouldn't care so much, but if you're a painter and you know the painting, if there's missing a dot, it's a damaged goods. Oh, It's a humongous painting. What's a big deal that there's missing one little dot in the painting, a little hole in the painting? It's a damaged painting. I'm sure that such a painting would lose its value. Vast, because it's missing a dot in the painting. Missing a person in the world is missing a whole world. The whole painting, the whole world is missing. Exactly, because you don't stand the value of the painting. It's not the Rembrandt's dot, it's your dot. So that's it. That's the way it is. I would do the same, but I'm not arguing with you. But ultimately, that's the way the Eibishter created a world that every individual is important. The world could not be in existence without Avraham Avinu, without Moshe Rabbeinu, and the world would not be in existence without you. Yeah, you're with me. You don't agree with it. They finished their mission in the world, and that's it. They finished their purpose. They colored that dot in, and it's time for them to move on. Every person, this point in time, every person's needed. That's it. Can't write you off. I can't say you're not important. I don't need you. You're worthless. You're here. If you're here, then there's a purpose for you here. That was the greatness of Moshe Rabbeinu. That was an honor of Mikol Adam. He said, "I'm not. The Eibishter made me. God made me." So humility in the Torah and haughtiness can go together. Because we are humbled, because God gives us everything. That's why we're humble. And God said, you need to stand up. I brought you to the world. Don't say somebody else. Don't become humble and say somebody else can do what I brought you to the world to do. So you need to be proud. The Eibishter brought you to the world to do a mitzvah. Don't say somebody else can do the mitzvah. Do the mitzvah. We need you to do the mitzvah. Oh, but I'm humble. No, be proud. So there you see the humility and pride can go together. So on one hand, it says you are nothing but the dust of the earth. On the other hand, it says the whole world was created for me. How do you put the two together? Because it goes together. Why am the whole world was created for me? Because God created me. And if God created me, then the whole world needs me. Should say that the world needs me. The world needs me. That would tell somebody, say sometimes to people that were depressed, how can you be depressed? The world needs you. How can a person feel depressed if the Mishnah says that every person the world needs? What are you depressed about? The Eibishter says the world needs you. Imagine somebody else would come to you and say, you're special. Suddenly you'd feel good. David, God says, I need you. I need you. You are something special. Somebody else to tell you you're special. Correct. So it's previously explained that our God is understood as the way that God of Abraham and so forth. Because he became nullified and absorbed in the unity of the light of it. Said, the difference is that Avraham Avinu said, I'm part of God. My mission in this world is godliness. Yitzchak said, my mission is godliness. Avraham did it through chesed. Yitzchak did it through gevura, through severity and strength. Yaakov did it through mercy and kindness and truth. Each one took their talent and did serve the Eibishter. Said, I'm here to serve God. They were different. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov were three different people, lived their life different, had different kind of children, had a different world. They lived in a different world. And they all did. They were all humbled in their mission. They were humbled in their mission. And that's why God puts his name upon them. God puts, in essence, his name upon each and every one of us if we want to be humble to the mission. So he accepted that Abraham merited this by the reason of his work and his advance in holiness from degree to degree. as it says, Abraham journeyed, going on and on. That's the Rebbe always bless him. Maybe go from strength to strength. Keep on trucking. That's my statement. The Rebbe never said that. Keep on trucking.
Keep on driving.
Keep on trucking. That's it. Vayiso. Keep on journeying. That's the mission. Stop getting involved in the small craziness of the world, what's happening around you. Keep focused. This is a great rabbi who said he went to the circus and he learned a great lesson. One of the things in the circus, the guy who works on the tightrope, right? So today, they put a net underneath, so anybody can work on a tightrope, whatever. Because if you fall down, you get caught by the net. In those days, the guy fell down. Kaddish, they said Kaddish for him. Because the guy walks across today, he asked the guy, wow, why are you putting your life on there? Like, for what are you doing it for? I need to make a living. How much you make? A couple of cupcakes. I'm making $10. I'm making 10 cupcakes for the show. 10 cupcakes, you're putting your life on there? He said, what should I do? Gotta make a living. This is my talent. I can do it. How do you do it? So much atumah, there's so much going on in the circus. How do you keep your mind? He says, I just focus on the pole. I just focus on the pole in front of me. That's it. It's a life and death issue for a couple of cupcakes to focus on the pole. So the Yid said, the rabbi said, wow, what a lesson. A guy can focus on a pole to get across things for a couple of cupcakes. When I come to daven in shul, I can't. The whole life is based on this davening. My whole life, I'm praying for the Eibishter, not only for 10 cupcakes. I'm praying for the Eibishter for everything, for my life, for my health, for my wife, for my children. I'm praying. I can't concentrate for 10 minutes. I can't concentrate for that time when this guy can have focus for a couple of dollars. That's the point. The point is that Abraham and Isaac and Jacob were focused Jews. They were focused. Yeah, tried. I don't know. They said that Rabbi Jacobs was here. He said the reason how he remembered because he just didn't listen to anything else. He didn't even think what the Rebbe was saying. He just listened. It's the power of listening. Most of us don't have the power of listening. We listen and we're already thinking what translating it, giving interpretations, arguing with it, disagreeing with it, agreeing with it. The only way to do it is if you just listen. Listen. Don't listen to it. Don't let even your mind think about other things, even about the subject itself. Just learn to listen. And that's the problem. We don't come to listen. We come to argue, which is good, but that's why it's hard for us to retain, because while we're listening, we already think about something else. We're not focused on the concept. We're focused. That's why it says, the Gemara says that by the patriarchs, if you listen to whatever, you listen to the Torah reading, it says, Parshas of the patriarchs, it says, by Yetzim and Yavi, they went out and they came. They went out and they came. Every journey that they went through, they completed. They were focused, right? Most of us go out to a journey, and then we don't know where we're going. So we get blunged. We suddenly get distracted. We forgot what we're doing. We forgot where we are, and we get totally distracted. So they asked Maimonides, how do you do everything? How are you a doctor? How are you a rabbi? How are you writing books? How you take a walk every day? How do you do everything? So he said, whatever I do 100%. When I'm learning, I give it 100%. When I'm davening, I give it 100%. When I'm a doctor, I give it 100%. When I take my walk, I'm there 100%. I don't give anything for little here, a little there, and then I do nothing. Because I didn't give it 100%. That's the problem. So we never give anything 100%. We give donations. We need to be focused to give it 100%. So in our case, however, it's a heritage, it's a gift. in a way, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they worked to become who they became. They were self-made people. Didn't have any great schools and education, and even mitzvahs. They had no mitzvahs. They had no Torah, and they became people who they became. Self-made people, especially Abraham. Abraham Mamish had nothing, right? He had no. His parents were idol worshippers. Abraham had at least Isaac had at least Abraham, but Abraham was a self-made man, a person who Pashut made himself, worked on himself. Today we're Jews because we come from them. You don't have to work too much to be a Jew. You were born a Jew, and now you're a Jew. Machaya. You're in the club without any dues. No membership needed. And everything ultimately costs, no free lunch. So no membership needed. You're a Jew. A gift. It's a matana. It's a gift. So you might think, in our case, however, the heritage is a gift, and that he has given us his Torah, and has clothed in it his will and his wisdom. Blessed be he, which are united with the Ein Sof of God. Blessed be he, in perfect unity. And surely this, as he gave us his very self, as a word. It says in the Zohar, commenting on the verse, that they bring me an offering. Expression to me as the same as Oisi, they bring me. Hence the verse, the text says. The text over here says, hence the text should have read, me and the offering. Except that both are one and the same. Study it well there. When we come closer to the Eibishter, we are bringing God. Not that we're bringing something else to God. We are bringing ourselves to God. We are part of him. Mentioned yesterday the verse, right? The Rebbe says the verse in the Haftorah, right? What was the verse I spoke about? The verse, remember? You remember my drasha?
Yes.
What was the verse? Am zu yotzarta li. Right? The prophet says, Am zu, this nation I formed for myself. I formed this nation for myself. Let's talk about this people. Am zu yotzarta li. This nation I formed for myself. Yotzarti, I formed for myself. Not I created, I formed. They're part of me. They're part of me. And therefore, by them giving an offering, a mitzvah, it's li, they're giving them me. But not still li, they're giving me. When you're giving tzedakah, you're giving me. Because I formed, you're part of me. So the Abishah says, I forgive the Jewish nation because I forgive myself. And I forgive the Jewish nation. That's why it's my bechira to forgive the Jewish nation, because I'm forgiving myself. But he couldn't. He had no choice. Almost doesn't count. It's like every Jew say. If you say one more word, that's that way. Think Jews say that. If you say one, nobody knows what that word is. If you would have done that, the Avish says, that's the one sentence. Here the Alter Rebbe says thing. This interpretation, and you, Lord, our God, has given us in love. I'm sorry. But this expression, li, v'yitnu li, give an offering of me. When you offer God. We become united. We're offering to each other. We're becoming one. We were one before, now we're giving again. That's why V'yitnu is a circle, right? It says the Mepharshim, the sages say V'yitnu starts off, and you read it backwards and forwards. V'nasnu, Vav Nun Saf Nun Vav. So you can read it both ways. Backwards and forwards, because it is backwards and forwards. What? V'nasanu, and they will give. It goes backwards and forwards. You can read it both ways. That means both the giving and the receiving is all one concept. I gave you the tzedakah to give it back to me. I don't know. Palindrome? So it's one entity. That's why Chassidus says every mitzvah you do, it's a tzedakah. Who came up with the mitzvah? The mitzvah is the ratzon of the Eibishter, and by doing the ratzon of the Eibishter is doing what he wants. It's just basically this. It's just a circle. It's just a complete circle. So the Eibishter created the world for mitzvahs, and the Yidden do the mitzvahs, and then it goes back to one big circle. The circle's God, the Torah, a Yid, and they keep the circle going. The circle keeps on going. That's what the Eibishter made a promise. There'll never be a time that there'll be a Yid not doing mitzvahs, right? So you can have a lot of Jews not doing, but there's always be a Yid doing mitzvahs. There'll always be a Jew out there doing mitzvahs. There'll always be a tzaddik in every generation. There'll always be tzaddik. There'll always be Yid doing Torah mitzvahs, and that's proven, right? The Eibishter has the world has thrown to us every kind of situation, but there was always Jews doing their mitzvahs. Because it's impossible, because the world cannot exist. It cannot exist without it. Yeah, what's out there? Good, very good. This is an interpretation. The Alter Rebbe continues. It's a short chapter here, chapter 47. It encompasses the whole thing. So this is the interpretation that you, the Lord our God, has given us in love. Atiten lanu Hashem lakeinu be'ava. The Eibishter gave us in love. What did he give us in love? And for the light of your countenance, you gave us, Lord our God, you gave us Torah mitzvahs. You gave us the ultimate connection. Since we are part of you, how is it possible for you to be disconnected? I hide from myself? You drink enough. Can't. Person cannot hide from himself. That's what the Alter Rebbe would say. A Yid, nishta vil and nishta can. A Jew, not he wants and not he can be cut off from God. It's impossible. It doesn't make it. It doesn't work because a Yid is part of God, and the God is part of him. So it's impossible to disconnect from that concept. Let them do whatever they want. That doesn't change who they are. Doesn't change who they are because you cannot change who you are. If I'm a Jew, I have a neshama. I cannot touch that neshama. I can touch my body. I can't touch my neshama. Neshama is pure from before it came to body and after it came to my body.
Based on a long time ago, and we read Viktor Frankl, and my father, who is in the piece, their whole generation just became numb. So Tanya said, well, what made you want to live throughout all of that? Because he lost everything. And he said, it's from a Yid.
Yeah, That's true.
He was connected to it.
That's it. Even though it was subconsciously. Right. So subconsciously. That's it. That's the way it is. That's the way it says. The end of the verse says, Tilasi l'saper. The verse says. The verse I said yesterday again. The verse says, Tilasi l'saper. The ultimate, every Jew was created part of God, and therefore every Jew will praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu ultimately. Whether he wants, whether he doesn't want, it's him. He doesn't have any other way to do it.
Could you repeat the question, please?
She didn't say a question. She said a statement. She said her father survived the Holocaust, and she asked him, how did he do it? He said, because I was a Yid. That's what he said. That was his answer. I asked my father the same question. And how are you? I didn't ask the question, how do you survive? I said, how are you happy after what you went through in life? He says, because I chose to be happy. That's it. I chose to do it. That's it. I chose to be happy. I could be miserable, but I chose to be happy. I could choose to be happy. I don't have to, even though it doesn't make sense. Logically, it doesn't make sense. I have all the reasons to be sad. But you know what? I choose to be happy. We should all choose to be happy. That's freedom. If I choose to be sad, which you have all the rights maybe, but you're putting yourself into slavery. So you want to be in slavery? Because it's a free choice. You want to lock yourself up in prison? Lock yourself up in prison. You want a freedom? Then let yourself free. Give yourself freedom. Choosing to think differently. By choosing to be happy. By choosing to be free. By choosing to be godly. Whatever your choice might be. Not that you're animalistic and you're rational. That's not your choice. You live in the world. You were brought up, most of us brought up in a certain kind of a way. And if we were brought up in a negative kind of a situation, we have negativity. If we're brought up in a certain kind of a way, then we usually are who we are. That's what we brought up, but that's not freedom. That's not choice. That's not true choice. True choice is when a person is brought up in a negative way and he becomes positive. When a person is living through a negative situation and he chooses to be free. He chooses, nevertheless, to be free. That's why as the Alter Rebbe would say, the choice is every day. Not a choice once in a lifetime. It's a choice a person has every day. He wakes up in the morning, or things come to him. Everything comes to him during the day. Choose. Choose. You can choose at this moment to have a negative response, and you can choose in this moment to have a positive response. It's your choice. I hope you choose to live. You don't have a choice. You have no choice what's going to happen to you in life. You have a choice the way you're going to live it. You don't have a choice. Everything that happens to a person in this world, negative or positive, he needs to put it before God. He needs to go to God. That's why the Eibishter created tefillah. That sometimes negative things the Eibishter directs you away, which according to Chassidut is not negative, it's really positive. But okay, it's negative right now in front of my face. And I need to go to God. I need to tell the Eibishter, you have to redeem me. Right? Kel Yeshua si. Eftach v'lei avchad. Kel Yeshua si. The Eibishter is my salvation. God's my salvation. Ultimately, God's my salvation. 100%. Why not? Why not? Demand it. You can demand it for your husband. Like I demand it for God. Demand it. You should demand it. The Eibishter should give you your whatever you need. Why not? You can make deals with God. Whatever you want. Yeah. You can't get out. Right? Well, this is the same thing. You can't get out anyway. Yeah.
Even if you convert thousands, you want to be.
Can't convert. You can't.
Yeah,
You can't. Because Judaism is not a religion.
right.
Judaism is who you are. So if you converted to Judaism, became a Jew, now you were given a neshama. Not what you do. Went to halacha, you'd be looking at the Rambam. Rambam said, what is conversion? I accepted myself to Torah mitzvahs. So what happens after you accept yourself to Torah mitzvahs? Now you have to do it. Now you got to do it. You got to do it. Now you can't say, oh, I accepted myself, but I disaccepted. I changed my. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. So that's why today, they try to drive you crazy and they want to make sure that you're doing Torah mitzvahs. But it's very hard. A lot of people are in the moment of becoming Jewish for whatever reason. Then they realize, oh, hey, this is not a thing that, it's not always about motivation. Life is not always great, right? It looks good. But then, right? When the guy wants to sell it, until, like I said, when you go hire somebody, they're always wonderful until you sign on the bottom page. Once you sign and you give the deposit, go find them. Suddenly they're not foundable. They can't find him. You can't find him suddenly. Yeah, what happened? You were the best. You came with because till you signed the paper. Once you signed the paper, that's it. They're never around. It's the way it is. So to a lot of people, they're excited when they are they're in the mode of acquiring something. It's like a challenge.
But what are you really doing? You're riding the boat.
Say the happiest day of a boat guy is the day he buys it and the day he sells it. Okay. I don't know. I would love to own a boat, the truth is. But so they say. I don't know. I never owned a boat. Okay. But I asked one guy if that's true. A guy, a boat owner, he had a beautiful boat. He said it's not true. He loves his boat. It's great. But that's to say. That's to say. The day he buys it and the day he sells it. But say the joke of the guy who comes to heaven and tell him you can see Gan Eden or you can see Gehenna. What do you want to choose? He goes to Gan Eden, davening the whole day, learning all day. He says, we'll do this fight. We'll go with sugar. So let me see Gehenna. He comes to Gehenna. There's a whole meal. The guy, the malach there. He brings him down. He shows him. He shows us music. There's partying. It's a machaya. He says, wow, this is gewaltig. So he goes up to heaven, back to heaven. The angels in the window. He said, I want to get him. Why should I go to get him? It's a party. So he comes down, he opens the elevator. It's a fire. It's a disaster. He tells the malach, what happened yesterday was a beautiful. Yesterday you were a prospect. Today you're a client. Today you're a client. That's the joke. So this is the same thing, But the truth is, it's like marriage. When you're dating somebody, right? Right? Everybody is the best, right? Oh, he's a gentleman, she's a princess, everything's a machaya. Then you get married. Okay, I think it's funny, real life. She's not such a princess, and he's far from a gentleman. And we lose the right, because when you're dating, you're in the mode of acquiring something. And everybody, when you want to acquire something, you're a prospect, you're gonna put on a good show. Once you got it, I got it. These balchuvas, sometimes balchuvas, when they were coming up, they're doing tshuva, they're all hot. And then once they go, okay, I think about it. So this went crazy, but now all the goods and the bads come with it. But it's not always is it rosy out there, right? Not always is everything rosy. Sometimes there's a struggle. The Eibush to give struggles. Struggle. I always love going to a wedding, right? Everybody's happy, right? Chazan Kabblah look like happy, right? Nobody tells him, okay, you know what, get ready. Get ready when she's moody or he's in a bad mood. Yeah, get ready for the fun, right? Nobody tells him that. Everybody's, oh, love is in the air. If marriage is only about love, it would be about chaya. It's about bills. It's about headaches. It's about families. It's about health. It's a whole thing. And our children, there's challenges. Life is not easy. And the Abish sometimes throws in wrenches. He throws in sicknesses. He throws in the headaches, money. But the Abish is a multi-purpose challenge giver. So he gives everybody the challenges. And now suddenly, now it was much easier to work out challenge by yourself, right? You were single. It's much easier to work out your challenges. I don't have to deal with 10 people with another person to decide my challenge. I do whatever I want. Now suddenly I have to ask him, I have to ask her. She doesn't want it, she doesn't want it, she's angry now. Whatever, he's angry. That's the way it goes. That's the way the neshama is above. He has a great thing, he has a great life. He has a spiritual life. Now he comes into the body. He comes into this body. It's a wonderful body. But he's so many conflicts, so many issues, other problems. I'm a pure guy. I'm a holy guy. What am I doing with these issues? What am I doing with these issues, right? Moshe Rabbeinu also said the same thing, right? When the people want to free, he said, what do you want from me? I'm a spiritual guy. I'm a spiritual guy. If I'm an unbelievable, godly person, you're asking me for meat. Well, what am I going to do? I'm a butcher. I came down here not to become a butcher. I came down here to lead the Jewish nation, to bring it to Israel. That's what I came to. That's what I wanted to accomplish. He didn't accomplish it. Right? The beauty was that 40 years, that even though he found out 40 years before that he wasn't going to accomplish it, he kept the journey. He kept the journey going. He prepared them. He didn't give up. Even though I'm sure it was we know that it was a disappointment to him. It was a great disappointment to him that he didn't accomplish his dream. But he did accomplish his dream. The Abish said, you didn't accomplish your dream. Your journey in the world is a personal journey. Your journey in the world is a godly journey. So for God, you accomplished a godly journey. There's a purpose in why they needed to be 40 years in the desert and you're going to die in the desert. There's all purpose. The Abish has my agenda. Stop thinking about yourself. There's a godly journey, which ultimately Moshe accepted.
5-minute warning.
Yes, thank you. So let's try to finish this chapter. First time in history we finish the whole chapter. Therefore, that is redemption. I'm coming to redeem myself before Pesach. Therefore, the only thing that precludes us from the attachment of the soul to his unity and light, blessed be, is the will. That is, if the human being does not will it at all, God forbid, to cleave to him. That's the problem with the body. The body gives us, we have other wills, seemingly. We have other agendas. We have other purposes. Here, the neshama came down to the world to become one with God as he's in the world, to make this circle. And suddenly the neshama is told, wait a second, I'm busy. It's a wonderful idea, but it's not on the calendar, right? It's just not, I'm busy right now. I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. What do you mean? Well, we came down to the world to connect to God. No, I have other issues. I have other wills. And those wills come before the will of my soul. And that's the struggle. If we had the will, if our will, that's what the Mishnah says, if we can make our will God's will, we would have an unbelievable reality. But because everything's in our will, if we had true will and desire, nothing would stand. Nothing stands before the will of man, right? But as a human being, I have other wills. I have other agendas. I have seemingly have other purposes, and that's the struggle. So that's the God forbid to cleave to Him, but immediately does so desire and accepts and draws upon himself His godliness, blessed be He, and declares the Lord our God. The Lord is one. Then His stats freedom of the soul. So when a Jew comes and he says, no, even though I have other wills and I have other desires, but my will, as I am a human being in this world, is Shema Yisrael, Shem Elokeinu, Shem Echad. Even though I have other wills, I proclaim it once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day. I say, the Eibush is my true will. We have to remind ourselves. The Rebbe says later in Tanya that that Moshe Rabbeinu established the Shema twice a day in Devarim and Deuteronomy, right before the Jews went into Eretz Yisrael, because he understood that they're going to get busy. Right? They were sitting in the desert 40 years. What did they do? They sat and they were sat in Kailul. They sat and learned Torah. What did they do for 40 years? Sat and studied Torah. Everything was given to them from heaven. So now they're going to it, so they got to go to work. They have other agendas. Toil the land, and wars, and conflicts, and issues. Said, oy vey, the Ratzon is going to be lost. The Ratzon is going to be diminished. Their whole desire of learning and davening and connecting is going to be the Ratzon to become a different Ratzon. They're going to be a will that the produce should be good. They're going to have true wills that the home should be beautiful. They're going to have wills and they're going to have a different Ratzon. If we beg the Yid and say the Shema twice a day, maybe you'll remember. Even the will of the ground and the will of that will be in front of you. Remember your true Ratzon. Remember the Ratzon of the Neshama. The spirit evokes the spirit and draws the spirit. This is a form of exodus from Egypt. So when we say Shema, we're going out of Mitzrayim. We're giving our Neshama freedom. Because we're reminding ourselves of our true will, which is the Ratzon, the will of our soul, to become connected to God. Therefore, it is ordained on the paragraph concerning the exodus of Egypt to read sufficiently during the recital of the Shema. Although it's a commandment by itself, commandment by itself. I'm almost finished. Give me a couple of minutes. A couple of minutes. Oh, it's a commandment by itself and not pertain to the commandment, the recital of the Shema, as stated. Where does Yetzias Mitzrayim mentioned? Close the door, please. Where is Yetzias Mitzrayim mentioned? Yetzias Mitzrayim is mentioned in the 3rd chapter, right? Chapter Shema. So the first 2 chapters of Shema talks about the oneness and a mitzvah, the greatness of a mitzvah, and the greatness of the oneness that we have with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, our soul has with God. What is the 3rd commandment? The 3rd portion is the going out of Egypt. Ani Hashem Elokeichem asher yetzeischa Mitzrayim. Right? I am God, the God took out of Mitzrayim. Hashem Elokeichem emes. So over there it mentions it. Why? Because the true concept of my neshama becoming one with the Eibush every single day is Yetzias Mitzrayim, is going out of Egypt. Let us finish off. As stated in the Talmud and codes, for they are actually the same thing. Likewise, the paragraph referring to the exodus of Egypt also concludes, I am the Lord your God. This is also accords with what I explained earlier. My friend, Hashem Elokeichem emes, right? So that's the whole point. The whole point is that Yetzias Mitzrayim happens every single day, that we let our neshama connect to God. We try to create a ratzon to the Eibishter, like we have a ratzon to the world. We try to create a ratzon, a will to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which gives it our neshama its true freedom. And that's the beauty of Yetzias Mitzrayim, giving ourselves true freedom. Have a wonderful and beautiful day. We'll see each other in 3 Sundays for now, April 16. I know it's long, but take the Tanya with you and learn it yourself.
Are we having class on
still be
Thursday?
married, I better help my